Coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas, this is Punk Brats, a podcast focused on the lives and experiences of our military brats. We didn't serve, we got served. Now here are your Punk Brats, Rose and Lisa.
Hey, it's Rose.
Hi, it's Lisa, and we're the Punk Brats. Hey, Rose.
Hey, Lisa. Back to another episode.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's been a while, and I love doing this with you. So, how's it going?
It's going great. I thought we'd just jump right into it and answer Ashley from San Antonio's question from the last episode.
I love that we do that we just immediately answer the question of our callers. And by the way, for those who are not familiar, anytime you listen to a Punk Brats episode, at the very, very end, we include a caller's story or a question, and we do our best to answer them. So what was the question from last episode?
So Ashley from San Antonio wants to know what we would say to our younger military brat self. And I'm just going to jump in right away because I kind of already answered this. I have it all written out because a few years ago, we had an assignment at school where the seniors that were graduating, we had them write to their ninth grade selves about what to expect in high school. And then were sharing those letters with the incoming freshmen. And when
you shared them with the incoming freshmen that were,
yes,
wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So they asked me to participate too about high school. And I was like, well, my high school experience is not really going, this wouldn't really work great with my high school experience. But how about if I write it to my younger self from moving around a lot? And so I already had something pre-written. I was like, I'm just going to read this because I think it's still relevant. It's always going to be relevant, right?
Yeah, go for it.
So, okay. So one day you're going to look back on what feels hard right now and realize it made you stronger than you ever imagined. All the moving, the new schools, the constant starting over, it's building something in you. You're learning how to adapt, how to stand on your own, how to walk into unfamiliar places and make them yours. It's shaping your independence and your resilience. And one day, those won't just be your survival skills, they'll be your superpowers.
Oh my gosh, Rose. That's just so nicely put. That's right. We have superpowers.
Thank you.
Wow.
They are superpowers.
Yeah.
All our experiences back then.
Yes.
I mean,
it
taught us how to make friends, how to adapt, all sorts of things.
But that's a great idea. That's a great thing. I mean, but so what would I tell my younger self?
Yeah.
To invest in Apple, Amazon, Bitcoin, Google, Yahoo.
Right?
Who knew all the technology and all that stuff, Apple, man, who knew, right? In the 80s when What's-His-Face said, "This is Macintosh." So anyway, no, Rose, great advice for any young military brats out there who feel like it's the end of the world and they have to PCS again, this and that. I mean, eventually it comes around to be a positive, and at least for me and you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So welcome to season 4, episode 2. Can you believe that?
Oh my gosh, that sounds so official.
I know, season 4, episode 2. We have some great guests coming up this season, but I'm really excited about our upcoming guest, Joey Swatzell. Joey's story about how he grew up like us overseas, and he grew up in Guam. Didn't we we went to school in Japan. Some of our friends came from Guam.
Some of them went to Guam as well.
Some were Guamanian.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one place we never went to go visit, huh? We never had the opportunity to go visit the Philippines or Guam when we lived in Korea and Japan.
Right.
Yeah. So Joey's story is, his mom was in the Navy. His father was the spouse. And, actually both of his parents were in the military. And then his dad got out and his mom stayed in. And then I guess when he was in Guam, he got turned on to rugby. Football, American football is tough enough. Could you imagine, Rose, pummeling each other with nothing on, throwing a football back and forth to each other and just beating the shit out of each other?
I think that would be a lot more fun, actually.
Why?
No, I mean, right? It's like
Rugby just seems to me so, it's a tough sport, it's a man sport. Like they're beating the crap out of each other.
it's like the bare knuckles fighting of football.
Of football, yeah. I mean, I know there was some light protection, but when you watch some of that video footage of those guys just running down, holding that ball, and then they just like literally body slam each other. Boom, bam, I mean, at least in hockey, they're all covered up. Football, they've got the shoulder pads and all that on. But rugby, they are just out there. Like, get out of my way.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
really,
so
really cool.
Joey's going to tell us about how he went from being a Navy brat to an international world rugby referee. So, yeah, looking forward to that. What else has been going on, Rose, with us? We have so much coming up.
There's a lot coming up. We recently got back from a whirlwind trip to Washington, D.C.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. What a trip. So much fun. What an honor, right?
Fun. Yes. I just want to know how we went from sitting in a room talking about maybe starting a podcast together to emceeing an official Pentagon event.
Yes. So the Punk Brats had the honor of emceeing the National Bring Your Child to Work Day for the Pentagon, which is celebrated every fourth Thursday in April every year nationally. And Rose and I were invited to come out to DC and MC this. And we were in the presence and company of Second Lady Usha Vance, America's Got Talent. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, the America's Got Talent Golden Buzzer winner Tyler Figueroa, the violinist, and every military branch music corps, like the drum corps and all that kind of stuff, and
and pop bands and rock bands that.
Oh, the Nationals, the running of the presidents.
Yes. Oh my goodness, the Washington Nationals baseball team, running of the presidents. They were running late.
They were running late. That's so funny. They really were. And then we saw the Washington.
Literally.
I know that everybody calls them the Washington Commanders, but I still call them the Redskins. But anyway, the cheerleaders were there, and they were so cool to be part of the little girls who were trying to be cheerleaders. They were so cute. But who else was there? Stars and Stripes newspaper. Shout out to them. And
one of the biggest stars of the show for the kids was K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh my gosh, K-pop Demon Hunters.
That line was so long.
Just to get your picture with them. Oh, yep. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse.
Mickey and Minnie.
They make their special appearance every year. And then we went from that to the Military Child World Expo and went and participated in that a few days later. And that was also really incredible because hundreds of kids and families stopped by to visit veterans and our booths, right? Vendor booths that were military family related. And we got to interview like all these little brats of the youngest one was like 5.
So, yeah.
And then the oldest gentleman we spoke to was like, I'm going to guess 70 something. And DC Rose, we did it. Second year.
The man on the street interviews were really fun. I really enjoyed that. The Pentagon experience, that was amazing to me as well. And they just the sheer number of people. I think they said 8,500.
They said it was the largest one that they posted. It's the largest turnout.
Yeah. There's like 10, 11,000 people there.
Yeah. And Rose and I got to go through a security clearance at the Pentagon. That was so cool. We saw Secret Service in action, Capitol Police, Washington Police. And you know what? I just have so much respect for our first responders and all the employees who work at the Pentagon and all the military folks out there just representing and keeping us safe. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
For sure. We also got to experience an emergency evacuation from the Cannon building.
About that.
Visiting our representatives. We, there was an alarm. Someone had left an unattended bag in the Cannon building where our House of Representatives have their offices. So, and then the next day we were on our scooters, and then there was shots at the correspondence dinner just down the street from where we were riding our scooters. It was a very eventful weekend, to say the least.
For sure. We got to experience the whole thing with the high red flag craziness of Washington, D.C. But yeah, on behalf of Hats Off for Veterans, our parent company who produces Punk Brats, we go every year to lobby on behalf of our veterans and mental health and the challenges of PTSD and suicide prevention. So if you want to learn more about Hats Off for Veterans, it's www.hofv.org. And of course, while I'm at it, visit the Punk Brats at www.punkbrats.com. Give us a call, please. We love your stories and questions. 512-254-5989. Y'all know how to search us on social media. Yeah, so Rose, you ready to bring out our guest?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's bring out Joey Swatzell. Hey, Joey Swatzell. Welcome to the Punk Brats. I'm Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. I'm Joey. It's good to be here.
Hi, Joey. It's Rose.
Hi, Rose. How are you?
I'm well. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
Joey, can you do us a favor and say your last name?
Swatzell.
Swatzell.
It's Americanized German, Swatzell.
Swatzell. Sounds cool.
All right, Rose,
so
take it away.
Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and, including where you were born, and take us through all the places that you lived and the schools you've attended?
You got it. No small task. So my name is Joey Swatzell. I'm 34. I currently live in Miami. I've been here for about 6 months. But to answer your question, my parents met on Guam in 1988. My dad was a tank Marine and my mom was a Navy nurse. And they both came to the States around the same time, and it was one of those deals where they had to decide, who stays in, who gets out. Do we try to maintain a marriage with both of us active duty and all the challenges that poses? But ultimately, they decided to get married in North Carolina in 1990, and my dad got out of the Marines, and my mom stayed in the Navy. And I was born in Charleston, South Carolina in 1992, and shortly thereafter, the three of us moved to Great Lakes, Illinois, where my sister was born. And from there, we moved to Bremerton, Washington when I was 5 or 6. And then from that point on, we moved about every 2.5 or 3 years. So from Bremerton, Washington, we went to Chesapeake, Virginia, where my mom went to Old Dominion University to get a master's in nursing, I believe. And then from Chesapeake, my mom was stationed in DC. So we lived in Herndon, Virginia. So I went from Fox Mill Elementary School to Rachel Carson Middle School. And from Rachel Carson Middle School, we moved to Guam for the first time. So my parents going back for the second time years later. My sister and I, it's our first experience outside of the U.S. And we went to Commander William C. McCool Elementary School, and which was in an old Marine Corps barracks that they had refurbished into an elementary school, which was a fascinating experience. And then I went to Guam High School, which was on the naval base. All on the southern part of the island. The Air Force Base was up in the north. And so we stayed in the southern part of the island. And then halfway through high school, my end of my sophomore year, my mom got stationed at the Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas. So we all moved back to the States. That was an incredibly challenging time leaving Guam for the first time. It was home by that point.
Yeah.
But graduated from high school, from Navarro High School in Seguin, Texas, and then I attended Texas State University, which was just a little ways up the road in San Marcos, Texas. And I was there for a year, and then I was put in a bit of a predicament. So my mom got stationed on Guam again. And so I had the choice of staying at Texas State as a freshman and theoretically graduating college on my own while my family all went back to Guam. Mom dad and sister, or I could go with them. And of course, I went with them. And that posed some serious challenges for, credits transferring and just my progression through university. But made it back home, praise God, and so happy to be back, so happy to reconnect with friends. I became a student at the University of Guam, and I was there for about 2 years, and then another decision where the military told my mom at that point, she was coming up on 30 years. They said, all right, Beth, it's retirement time. If you retire right now while your whole family is on Guam, it will be up to you to get you and your family back to the States on your dime minimally. Or if you take one more duty station, we will bring you back to San Antonio to the Brooke Army Medical Center, but you'll owe a couple more years. And so as a family, we all decided that going back to San Antonio was the right move. As much as we loved Guam, we had extended family that, as I'm sure you know, you never really get to build roots with over the years. And so it was an opportunity to get back out there and say that that'll be where we're going to be forever. So the way things worked out, I actually left Guam a year before my family, transferred back to Texas State to finish up my university. And right around the time I finished, my mom, dad, and sister came to San Antonio, which put us all for the last time kind of in the same area.
Wow.
Sorry, that was a lot. I hope
that's
coherent.
amazing. That's a military child.
Oh.
Yeah, it is a lot, but that's just so normal in our world, right? We all have those similar stories.
Folks like you who I realize that is normal for a handful of people, and so not normal. I mean, I don't even get into 10% of that story with most folks because it would sound like a unbelievable mess. So
right. I mean, just look, think how long it just took you in that span of time just to explain the whole thing. So which brings me to my next question. So how do you feel when someone asks you where you're from? Like, is that an anxiety-inducing question, or is it just not a thing? Or what do you say?
Yeah.
My first thought always in my heart is Guam.
Okay.
It's where I had my first kiss. It's where I found music. It's where I found, it's just all my
You became
friends.
A teenager. That's Germany
Truly.
for me. Yeah, I get it.
I know
You're
that
coming
about
of
you.
age. I think
Coming of age. That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think I've been in the States now long enough that I say Texas is home. I think it was 2 years ago we passed the threshold that Texas was officially where I had lived the longest.
Okay,
and it's where family is,
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So Guam in my heart, Texas on paper, I think.
Oh, we get it, don't we, Rose? We totally get
Oh gosh,
that.
yeah. I mean, I know for me, and I've said this on past episodes, I always get a little anxiety when people ask me that because it stumps me. And like for most people, it's not a question that's supposed to stump you. It's like I assess a situation and I think of the person asking me, it's like, oh, do they really want to hear my story? Or is it just like, well, I was born in Korea and I moved here, but like you, I think last year officially became the place I've lived the longest, Texas, because I moved out here from California.
Yeah.
And did you ever see that coming when you were growing up in Germany and born in Korea?
No,
Texas? How did we end up here?
No, not at all.
We ended up here because of our dad. I mean, my parents had a home when we went overseas, and so they said, pick a college in Texas, in-state tuition.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, but not for me, really. That wasn't really my case. For Lisa,
That was
because,
mine.
she was the second one to go to college. So, of course, financially it just made sense. But, I mean, I had planned on either being in California or I wanted to try something totally new and like go to, Notre Dame in South Bend or, Boston College. I for the longest time, I wanted to go to a Catholic university. And so I was doing all my research, but then, reality hit and I was like,
Right.
After researching and then coming to Texas for a little while and experiencing 6th Street, I was like, wait, I think I know where I'm going to school.
That's what I'm talking about.
Probably not the smartest way to pick a college.
I thought I recognized you.
Rose, that bad girl side. So Joey, you ended up in Texas at Texas State University, and I have to do a shout out because that's where, that's my alumni too. where did you go from after Texas State? Like, I know you had some electives you did in college, rugby and some other things, but tell us where you went after college.
So, so rugby, I played rugby growing up. And when I came to Texas State, I played for the university team and broke my hand in the state final against UT and decided that with the broken hand, I wanted to stay involved in the sport, but wasn't really going to go pro as a player. And so my coach recommended that I pick up the whistle and start officiating. So in the tail end of my college academic career, I was studying to become a rugby referee and just doing games on the side. That was kind of my personal life elective. And then, of course, we did our thing together at the Central Texas Medical Center. So kind of all at once, I started becoming a referee and graduated with a degree in social work and sociology. And I took both of those things up to Austin. I started working for the Housing and Urban Development, the Section 8 program. And I did that for about a year, and that was an incredibly stressful job. It really made me in that particular field of academia. It's really important to get a master's or above if you really want to earn money and do something really big at a macro level. Mm-hmm. And so I took this job as like field experience to decide if I wanted to go back to school. And while all this inner turmoil is happening and decision making is happening, I got invited to South Africa for 3 months on scholarship as a referee to train with some World Rugby coaches and referees. And the idea was USA Rugby by that point had identified me as someone that could be one of the top referees in the US. And I was already traveling to New York and California a couple times a year to do some of the national events and do an occasional international match. And
how does it feel to be on the other side? Like not being a player, but being a referee instead? Like, do you ever want to be like, oh man, I wish I could just jump in the game right now?
I don't miss the long recoveries. I mean, even from
getting beat up and slammed, isn't that it's a pretty tough sport?
It sure is. Well, and when you're growing up in the islands, you're playing against a bunch of, I'm a skinny white kid, so I'm playing against a bunch of islanders and getting beat up and then these corn-fed Texas boys, it's it wasn't worth it. But the reffing thing was awesome because I got to give back. I got to travel in ways that I never would have. I never would have gone to New Zealand or South Africa or any of those places as a player. And so I got to focus on the IQ side of things instead of the physical side. And I really enjoyed that.
That's cool. I'm going to take it back if I could, because you touched on, Guam and the island. I want to kind of take it back to your childhood. What was it like being the new kid on Guam and trying to figure out like island culture? And how did you get introduced to rugby?
Great question. I think I got there young enough to not miss much of life in the States. And so everything that I experienced on Guam was new and easy to ingrain. And I think as far as rugby on the island goes, so my dad played rugby growing up. He played for the Marine Corps. And when we got back out there, he played with his old Guam friends. So I got to watch my dad have this rugby community with islanders and locals and things like that. And so it was just super common to see me and my white dad just with a bunch of non-white people.
Islanders.
It was so normal. Yeah. And then and unfortunately the school that I went to didn't have a rugby team. So I had to go to the nearest school, which was Southern High School. On Guam, shout out Dolphins. And so I played my football, my baseball, my rugby with the Southern Dolphins. And my very first ever day of sports with the Southern Dolphins was rugby. And my dad took me out to practice and said, look, we're going to go out here. You've been talking about wanting to do this. And if you don't like it, I'll take you home. We'll never talk about it again. So to his credit, he never pushed me. But we parked, we came into the stadium, and I saw like half a dozen boys that would end up becoming brothers, essentially, sitting in a little cluster by the field, playing ukulele and waiting for coach to show up to start practice. And I went down there and I introduced myself, and I remember my heart kind of beating fast, and you could just tell from watching that they had known each other their entire lives. And so I was really an outsider coming in, and for reasons I may never truly know, they just completely accepted me. It was just like they'd just been waiting for me, and I had been waiting for them, and so it was such a validating, wonderful experience. I mean, my best friends still to this day are from my time back there, even the ones that you don't talk to because it's been,
Yeah,
it's been
of course,
years
yeah.
together. But yeah, that's why it's home.
Oh wow, I can.
That's so
believe,
cool.
yeah.
So I don't know much about Guam. I did have a friend who out of all my Brat friends, I only have one that had lived in Guam. Is there more than one high school or school there for the dependents, or did you guys have different schools that you played against? How did that go like on
Totally.
Guam? How did that work out?
Yeah, so Guam is 32 miles long and 8 miles wide. And it's as small as can be.
Tiny.
Wow.
The
Tiny.
naval base is in the south and the Air Force base is in the north because the bays and the harbors and the ocean access is a lot better down south. The flat lands are up north where plains and runways can be.
Okay.
In between, you have a cluster of villages. I forget how many villages, so I'm not going to guess. But there are a handful of schools that dependents can go to depending on where they live. If the active duty folks are in the middle of the island, they might go to Simon Sanchez or GW or.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
I didn't either.
But most of the time, Guam High School was the go-to.
Okay, and
So how many people did you graduate with? I mean, if you would have, what was the class like? What was a typical senior class, graduating class?
I think the total number of kids 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade was 380, just under 400, which is actually identically the same size as the school that I went to in Texas that I graduated high school from. So that was an easy transition.
Wow.
Okay. Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, Rose, we never went to Guam.
No,
we didn't. In Korea. We never got the opportunity to go there. We had lots of Guamanian friends.
Yeah.
But they were mostly the Navy brats. And they were mostly the Navy brats.
A lot of the Navy
We lived
brats.
lived in Atsugi.
A lot of overlap over there. So easy to get to. It's just a little Mac flight, couple hours.
But like you said,
it's true.
But like Joey said, Rose, like we've lived everywhere, on different bases. But Rose and I don't know. I loved Japan and I loved Germany. So I loved Japan because it was for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So you're kind of becoming a young person, right? But then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, you're in high school. And so I'm so blessed I had the best of both places from my formative year, for 6th grade through my high school years. Rose and I were very lucky.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I remember talking to you a lot about this kind of stuff. And would you say that Germany is sort of really what's in your heart?
Probably just because, yes, because I graduated as an adult. I became an adult, I think, in Germany. And Rose and I, through college, we continued to come home to Germany because our parents accepted another assignment in Frankfurt. Wow. So during college, during summer and Christmas, we went home back to Germany up until I was 20 years old.
Amazing. What a life.
And so Germany is very special to me, but yet I'm best friends with all my friends from Germany and Japan still. They're just separate. Sometimes Rose and I get confused. Like today, I got a text message from a friend and I had to just for 2 seconds remember if this friend was Japan or Germany. Just for a second. You got to just think about it.
I've actually had where I will hear from someone, a friend from one of the bases and then hear from another friend and I'll be like, oh my gosh, guess what? I heard from so-and-so. And they're like, who? I'm like, oh, wait a second, never mind.
No, that's real military.
It's like crossover. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You don't know them.
Well, I mean, part of our goal, Joey, to do Punk Brats is because a lot of folks talk about military brats and they think 12th grade and younger. But look at how you're a young person, but yet you're not 18, but your heart is still there as a brat. And so Rose and I are just trying to bring more awareness to this unnoticed community, because there's a lot of brats even older than us, and we're way older than you, who are so excited about bringing us all together, like of all ages.
Totally.
And our stories are all the same.
Absolutely. I mean, so much of what makes us us happens between the age of like 3 and 8. And when you're just zipping all over the world and being a minority in a different culture, I mean, it just completely changes your perspective for the rest of your life. It's like the nature and the nurture both hit you in such a unique way in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just so formative, and it's who we are. It's kind of cool. Like, Lisa and I recently went to a military brats reunion for another organization called Overseas Brats. And there were people there, I mean, well into their, would you say, Lisa, like their 60s and 70s, maybe 80s?
There was 180 something year old.
And, just regular, I guess, Caucasian looking appearing.
Well, the youngest class that attended was 1990.
Yes. And then they were like, yes, I was born in Japan, or I was born in Lebanon. I was born in Tehran, Iran, on a military base. I was like, we had military bases
Paris.
In Iran? Like, I had no clue.
Right.
How about the husband and wife, Rose, who are married, who were both from the International School of Paris, and they're still married to this day?
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool meeting them.
That was the 80-year-old.
There was International School of Morocco for military brats, and some of them were from Africa. I was like, wow, I just had no idea. Of course, a lot of these bases don't exist anymore because they were children in the 50s, I guess 50s and 60s, before our time. So I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Well, gatherings like that are so evidence of, as you say, the formative nature of the lifestyle of being a kid in a family that's moving around for the military.
Well, can you say, does your sister feel the same way as you?
That's such a good question. Ooh, what a good question.
We've interviewed a few siblings, and sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't.
We don't agree. We have very different. The moving around was difficult, I think, for my sister. When we got to Texas, she found a people and a culture that really resonated with her. Island life and island culture, and really any other culture I've ever known, are very, very different. And for a million different reasons, I would say she was very happy to come to the States and be done with the moving. And for me, I just couldn't wait for the next adventure. And it's only now that I've been married for 6 months, and I think that maybe I could think about sitting still for a little bit, but only a little bit. I don't even want to talk about being here for too long, So anyway, I digress.
Know for
We're
me,
like that.
Even though after I had to give up the ID card, which was like very traumatic for me.
Don't remind me.
Oh my God.
I still moved from apartment to apartment to apartment.
Yeah. Yes.
Even though I was in the same city and working the same job, I found myself that I just kept moving. It was really weird. It's like.
Where was this for you? Austin?
California.
California. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was in California,
yeah.
I just would just move, and I would move apartments like all the time, and I don't even know why, but it's like, oh, my lease is up. I'll go look for a new place to live.
Something new.
Instead of just renewing my lease, which I guess I could have done, but it's something in me just felt like I had to move.
Totally.
It was, I can't really explain it, but I don't know.
I have a question about your parents. So your mom is a nurse, was in the Navy, and your dad was in the Marines. She's retired now? And
funny question. I'm sorry. So in 2013, I think it was, she retired with 30 years.
Wow.
In the Navy. And as we speak right now, she is 4 months away from retiring with 10 years as a civilian contractor.
Wow. Thank your parents for us, please, from the Punk Brats, for their service and for raising outstanding children. I just love the story that how you just kind of followed in the footsteps of your father, not necessarily joining the military, but taking on his hobby of like rugby. Because like Rose's children, her son is a spitting image of his father, Lucas and Craig. Yes, but musically, he's following his father's footsteps and does all the music. Actually, he surpassed his dad because he plays more instruments.
Watch out.
Right?
I love it.
So, have you ever challenged your dad in a rugby game?
Oh gosh, we have wrestled a couple times, and I won't tell you how it went, but
It's always dad.
I tell you what.
What? Oh, did you take him down?
Yeah, he's a big fella. He's more the brawler, and I'm more the speedster, which doesn't
Okay.
really translate when you're wrestling. But I think I could get him probably these days.
So rugby, it's like football. Kind of
Hmm.
briefly, quickly explain rugby.
Totally. Rugby is 15 on 15. It's about the size of a football field. The objective is to take the ball into basically the end zone and touch it down. That's called a try. And then after each try, you kick through the uprights for extra points, just like in football. It is an 80-minute match, two 40-minute halves with like a 10 or 20-minute halftime. And there are no timeouts unless there's a very serious injury or lightning or something like that. The game does not stop. So
Oh, wow. I never knew
it's
that.
a lot of fun to watch. Hmm.
And I mean, like hockey, it can be brutal, right? People lose teeth and get
Oof.
beat up
I
pretty
could tell you
bad.
some stories. I could tell you some stories. Yes. I know that you don't use video on this podcast, but lots of little injuries that add up over time, and then
Oh,
some really big ones
wow.
if I took my shirt off. But yeah, it's so inevitable in rugby.
Well, I find it fascinating.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was like, prior to us recording this, I was talking to you about, doing a crash course in rugby and just watching some YouTube shorts. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
brutal.
Well,
Like I
and
had
you're looking
no
at me,
They
idea.
right?
hit each other in midair
Right
when they're
there.
catching a ball midair.
And it's not,
bodies
you
slamming each
don't
other.
have all that protective equipment
No.
that we do in
that's
American
You're
football.
right, Rose. You're right. They don't.
It's like, wow. I mean, it can be brutal.
Concussions
Wow.
left and right. Man, you think about
It's a rough sport.
CTE in football. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying CTE is real.
One thing I think that's special about rugby is that in football you're armored up, and so it's really common to throw yourself at your opponent. And in
Yeah.
rugby, no matter how big you are, you know that you don't have pads and a helmet, and I don't have pads and a helmet. So with the exception of the occasional crazy individual, there's a lot of technique that goes into tackling, thankfully, but doesn't mean the injuries don't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like just like I said, that crash course I did. It almost seems like it would be safer in rugby just because you're not padded up.
Yeah.
And it just like you're using
You're
your head and
conscientious about it.
you know what your limitations are. You know what I mean?
Rose, it's kind of like the Autobahn. There's no speed limits, but you use your common sense for driving how fast you want to
exactly.
go.
But it's actually safer to drive over in Europe or in Germany with
It
having
is.
no speed limit than it is here with the speed limit. You know what I mean? That's a great
Not a bad
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not a referee any longer.
I have pretty much retired. So
Okay.
I refereed, I guess you could say full time, for about 7 years, and I got onto the international stage. I did some really awesome international series, particularly in South America. But a couple of years ago, I had a pretty nasty injury to my leg during training, and I just decided that with the amount of money I wasn't putting in the bank from rugby and as much of my body as I was giving to it, it was time to invest in some other parts of my life. So I really fell into my career, which is happens to be in the world of physical security.
Okay.
And so very, very long story short, started off as a security guard because it let me go on these big, long rugby trips on short notice. But I've been in security now for over 10 years, and I work for a mid-sized physical security company that's based out of South Florida here that is becoming national. And so I'm sort of at the front of the wave as it grows, and
Awesome.
yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, yeah, you're in Miami.
I am Miami. That's right.
So when I was researching, I read the article, about your life, and you had mentioned, and you just mentioned now about, refereeing on the international stage, and you had wanted to officiate, I believe it was in Dubai and Hong Kong. Were you ever able to do that before you left?
I have been to Dubai a couple times, so I got to do some of their international
It's
series,
amazing.
and there's
that's cool.
it was such an amazing opportunity. There are so many different competitions and leagues around the world, so we would need so much more time to put them all in context. But I was involved in a lot of the national club stuff in the United States, as well as an organization called Major League Rugby, or MLR. I did a little officiating on the side for them. There are two types of rugby and I'll try to keep this brief. There's 15s, which is 15 on each side, and that's sort of your international standard, 30 players on each match. It's a longer, slower match. Then there is sevens, where you have 7 players on each side, and they are shorter 15-minute matches, but they're, in my opinion, much more exciting. They're shorter, higher intensity, quicker speed. I was always a sevens player and a sevens referee. And there are so many more sevens tournaments around the world, so you have more travel opportunities. And I did go from USA to World Rugby, and I did some of the international. It's called the Challenger Series, which is
That's cool.
largely South American sevens tournament. I did that for a couple of years.
Cool.
And
So if you're a player in the rugby, do you have to be a certain size? Can I play rugby?
you could totally play rugby. Absolutely.
All 5'1", all 5'1.5" of me, 5'1.5".
There's space for everyone.
Guess what? It's time for you guys. It's time for the lightning round.
All right. This is my favorite part. I say this on every episode, but it really is my favorite part because this gives our audience an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. These are just some random questions that I'm going to ask you, and just say whatever comes off the top of your head. No thinking aloud.
Let's do it.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. Question number 1. Guam humidity or Texas heat?
Guam humidity.
Okay. What hurts more, a broken hand or a bad call?
Broken hand.
One item that is always in your refrigerator.
Blueberries.
Oh,
Yum. Okay. What is your dream car, including the color?
A matte black Mercedes C300.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's spelled. Okay. If you weren't in rugby, what sport would you want to dominate?
Basketball would be really cool.
That's fun. Would you rather be a ninja or a pirate?
Pirate.
Arr. Okay. Movie that you have watched more than once.
Interstellar.
Okay. What is your go-to comfort food from Guam?
Oh. This is not a lightning question. I would say chicken kelaguen.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Would you rather be invisible
With
for a
Benedict?
day or be able to read minds for a day?
Invisible.
Fun. And finally, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to survive a zombie apocalypse?
Oh man. 6.
Okay.
What? You're not on my team.
No, I'm not very
I'm just
confident
kidding.
there.
I'm just kidding.
He survived the lightning round, and you didn't even have
But
to
you
stop.
did survive the lightning round.
Yay!
We did
Okay,
it.
let's go back to that meal you were talking about. What is it called? Chicken what?
Chicken kelaguen.
Okay,
Yeah, I never heard
how
of
is
it.
cooked?
Tell us
What is
about it.
Oh gosh, chicken kelaguen. There's chicken kelaguen, octopus kelaguen. It's basically a shredded meat with a
Okay.
couple of shame on me. A couple of veggies, but it's got a brightness to it. It's
Okay.
heavy in like citric acidity, so a lot of lemon and things like that.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
And then
yep.
finadini on the side, which is like a soy sauce with pepper and onion in it. Oh, it's so nice.
Is it more like a stew or like a stir fry?
Closer to a stir fry.
Like a stir fry? Oh, okay, that sounds
It's
good.
I'd stick with
I think
the
it's
chicken.
Vietnamese lob.
I'd pass on the octopus, but I'd go
Yeah,
totally
that's
chicken.
fair.
I don't like seafood, Joey.
I
I
knew
wish
that.
I did, though. I wish I did. I'm
More
the
for me.
weirdest half Korean you'll ever meet. Yeah, the apocalypse thing, though, Rose. Yeah, I don't think I'd have him on my team either. I was hoping for.
Listen, I just watched the
You're
28
fast.
Years Later movie.
Oh, I love that
It's-
series. Yeah.
Me
I
too.
love
Me
watching
too.
all of
But
them.
no chance. No
But you're a
chance.
fast runner, Joey.
Okay, so
That's
that's
true. I'd
with
outrun
that
you
in
guys, which
mind.
wouldn't be good for you. So you don't want me on the team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be good with fast zombies. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's a
It's
new
gonna get
thing that's
scary.
just recent because zombies have always been slow, like in my lifetime. And just recently, I'd say within the last like decade or so, they sped them up, especially those Korean zombie movies. It's like
Oh my
crazy.
gosh,
It's
right?
like,
Yeah.
what?
Train to
Since when can
Busan?
zombies run?
No, thank you.
Right? They are fast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, Joey, is there anything that you want to share with our audience that you want to highlight or promote for yourself or somebody else, or just what's on your mind that you'd like to share with our audience? Other brats.
Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate the question. I don't have
Or anything you want to share.
anything
You can
to.
share something. I mean,
Well, I will say my favorite book in the world is Four Agreements by, I believe, Don Miguel Ruiz. I recommend everyone read that. And I think in reflecting on my military life, which I have had, which I get to do somewhat regularly, I would say that the greatest benefit to having been raised as a military family that I bring up to my mom regularly when she laments having to pull us out of school and take us away from friends is that when you travel and you put yourself in new environments, especially ones in which you're a minority, it forces a perspective shift that so demands empathy
Yeah.
and a communal view of the world. And when you end up in your forever home, in your forever town, the ability to meet coworkers and people at the grocery store, in the library, in the gym, and be curious about them and give them space, and put yourself in their shoes, it just makes building friendships easier, finding relationships easier, finding community easier. And so if you weren't fortunate enough to be a punk brat growing up to travel all over the place, do yourself a favor and travel now,
absolutely.
and you'll be
wonderful.
thankful you did.
Yeah. I mean, Rose just went to Europe a few months ago, took her kids, got to show them where we grew
Amazing.
up. Yeah, that was an incredible experience. I hope I can do it with my kids one day, but I'm happy
Amen.
my niece and nephew could see where we grew up.
That's a blessing.
Wow. It sucks that we don't ever have a lot of time, Rose, with our guests, huh?
I know. I wish we had more time.
I know.
This was so nice.
This was really
It
cool.
Look, I am so proud to be a military brat. Like you said, Joey, we're all very unique. Like, we understand each other. You know, when I talk to my civilian friends and talk about how we moved and this and that, they're like, oh my God, I've lived in Kyle all my life, was born here. I can't imagine ever not being here in one place. And then I'm like, yeah, but that's just boring. But then I think about my own kids. They grew up in the same place. But from our stories, I think our kids feel that military.
I mean, there's pros and cons to both sides.
Yeah.
You know, my husband grew up like that. Although he is an Army brat, but his dad was out of the Army by the time he was born. You know, there's something to envy about that too. Like, oh, this is my friend from kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's so cool. You know, or going back to visit and, you know, his place in Michigan and like, oh, that's so-and-so's house, that's so-and-so's house. And they, you know, they see their parents and you're going, that's, oh, hi, Mrs. So-and-so and hi, Mr. So-and-so. Like,
oh my
I
gosh,
will never
you're
have
right,
that.
Rose. Think about the military kids, though, Rose, who are older than us, whose bases are closed down, and they're never going to be able to go visit it. Like you and I can go back to Camp Zama. Joey, you can go to Guam. But I just realized, Rose, there are military brats who will never be able to see their childhood home if the base is gone. Ugh. Yeah. So, Rose, explain to Joey how you close us down.
Okay, so as military brats, we never say goodbye. We always say see you later. Because we'll be seeing you later. Somewhere our paths will cross again. So see you later, Joey.
I know they will. See you later. And thank you for having me both. It's great to see you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
See you later, Joey.
Wow. That was very, very, very cool. A very cool
he lived
interview.
like you and I did in an Asian culture that, I mean, you and I are half Asian, right? So it's a little different, but he adapted to the Guamanian culture. I mean, he even went as far as like speaking the language and knowing the foods, and he really got down and became a Guamanian.
I really thought it was a really cool family dynamic that his mom was the service member and his dad was the dependent spouse. Because
his dad was in the service.
Well,
and then
but you know, like how he became the dependent spouse. Because growing up, I don't think I knew too many people whose fathers were the dependent spouse. I mean, I'm sure there were, but I just didn't really know. You know, which is really cool because it's like the sign of the times, you know, things are changing and
exactly,
you know, I love it.
You know what?
I think it's wonderful.
You saying that, I do want to do a shout out to someone special out there. She's going to be so excited to hear her name. Mindy Fletcher is on our board of directors for Hats Off for Veterans. She's retired Air Force, very, very well respected on our board. But she was also the one who served, and her husband was the dependent. And she always jokes with me about the stories that she hears about that, So shout out to Mindy Fletcher and her service, and thank you for everything. Her sons are now serving in the Air Force and Space Force.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I actually got to meet my first spaceman when we were in DC.
Your spaceman? Like, really? Tell us about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've never met anybody in the Space Force before. So I was standing there and
your first and only Space Force.
Someone heard me just mention that, and then someone tapped me on the shoulder. A man in the Air Force, actually, because he was wearing an Air Force uniform. Yeah. He goes, hey, and I looked at him and he goes, that guy over there, there's a spaceman for you. And I was like, huh? He goes, yeah, that's what we call them, the ones in the Space Force. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Oh my gosh. Well, on that note, Rose, how do you take us out?
Right. So here at the Punk Brats, we never say goodbye. We always say see you later.
Yep. So see you later.
Hi, Punk Brats. It's Jade here. I have 2 questions for you. What inspired you both to create the Punk Brats, and what does it mean to each of you to be an Army brat? Thank you so much. Have a great day.